Good afternoon, evening, morning, night, whatever time it is for you. It is episode 29 of Lore Lords with myself and Atlas tonight. And I am very excited to be doing another Cryptids episode, Atlas. So, I can't wait to see what you got for us.
Yeah, this episode's actually a product of two things. One being I was working on another episode that needed to be delayed. And two, I got, even though we actually had a week off in between. And
Right.
I had some personal life things happen and some other just busy work things happen. And I couldn't do like anything. So like doing a top 5 cryptid episode is pretty easy work for me. Like I know where to look. So like it was pretty easy for me to put this together. And I love so many different little cryptids and monsters and cryptozoology stuff that I could just put a list together like this. So this is a great like quick throw together episode. I'll say my notes are just as long as other ones. So it's not like,
It's not a quick episode necessarily. It's just one that you got to...
One that I feel confident in the subject matter of.
Right, yeah.
So
I do love how that happens all the time, though. We're just kind of like, we've been planning an episode for a couple weeks, and then we didn't do that when we're doing something else. That has happened, so many times.
Yeah, I have another episode on, gaming history that I'm working on.
Right.
So that's going to be maybe next week or the week after.
Right.
I got a couple episodes I'm working. Either way, this is good.
Yeah.
This will be a good episode. The episode title is the top 5 cryptids of North America. So this is Canada, United States, Mexico, and Central America, and the islands in the North American continent that we consider them in.
Great.
Most of them in the United States. I got some cool pictures of things. And we're going to have a little honorable mentions section afterwards for 2 things, because I'm not going to mention a big one, and I don't want people to be like, you didn't say, so there's a couple big ones I'm not talking about.
Can we also do Smash or Pass during this as well?
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll do I'll let you know at the end of each one. I'll even have a picture of it on screen, so you can Smash or Pass based on the picture.
Yeah, let's both speak our mind on the Smash or Pass. Okay.
Yeah, so these are 5 cryptids that come from all across this continent that we live on of North America. I will say what the cryptid is and then its location, and then we're gonna go into it.
Sounds good.
So the first cryptid, let's get right in there, is the Dogman. Have you heard of the Dogman?
I have not heard of the Dogman.
Yeah, so Dogman is also known as the Michigan Dogman, is a cryptid in Michigan, obviously. Now, this cryptid is very similar to 2 others, which would be werewolf and Wendigo. So a lot of people who have what is they think to be Wendigo attacks or Wendigos outside, and then people be like, well, where do you live? Like Michigan. They're like, well, you might want to look into the Dogman, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
The Michigan Dogman, it's pretty famous to people who live in the Midwest, Central United States, and Michigan area. The first in the Michigan deep lore of the state, the Dogman was allegedly witnessed for the first time in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. It's described as a 7-foot-tall, blue or amber-eyed, bipedal, canine-like animal with a human torso. So, kind of that the man-wolf hybrid version of a werewolf,
Right, yeah.
It's known for howling that sounds like a human scream and can be allegedly heard for up to 2 miles.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's got a very loud, man-like howl. The legend... I don't know what that means. Yeah, I was thinking if it sounds like a man... Does it sound like a man howling like a dog? Or does it sound like a man just screaming like that? Just for 2 miles. What does that sound?
That would be so funny.
I'm not scared. I'm just irritated at this point.
Yeah, right. Oh, God.
So legend states that the Dogman appears in a 10-year cycle on years that end in 7. So if we notice, the first year was 1887. So that was the first time it was seen.
Okay.
Sightings have been reported throughout Michigan, primarily the northwestern quadrant of the lower peninsula of Michigan. and the Dogman was relatively unknown until 1987, actually, when a DJ named Steve Cook at WCM FM radio recorded a song about the creature and its reported sightings as an April Fool's joke. And this boosted local popularity quite a bit, and it kind of has become like a local mascot for people around the area.
Good for the Dogman.
Yeah, like I saw, I think it was a middle school where their character is the Dogman. They're called like the whatever Dogmen. That's like their
we should replace all the racist sporting teams with cryptid names,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that'd be a way better idea.
So it kind of got popular. People around Michigan know it. The creature was unknown to most of the modern world until that time. Even though, like I mentioned, it was seen in 1887, but no one really knew talking about it.
Right.
It's said to be stalking the areas around the Manistee River since the days when it was inhabited by the Odawa tribes. So there is tribal stories, oral stories from the Odawa tribes of the area talking about a wolf or dog-like man in the area. Right. So that's a little creepy. But, like we kind of mentioned in the Wendigo episode, that the Wendigo, I think I even might have mentioned Dogman in the Wendigo episode. It's kind of like every tribe had their version of the Wendigo.
Right. Yeah. So, and you also mentioned too that those types of people, those people would always say, I know, my brain shit it out there for a second, but no, they speak of these things as more matter of fact than matter of not real,
Yeah.
There's oh, maybe or maybe not, but they're no. Like down here with skinwalkers, it's just you can talk to a lot of Hispanic families and they're just kind of you mean the fact of skinwalkers?
Yeah, exactly. It's just to them, it exists. There's no question about it. It exists as much as dogs exist. The Dogman exists, to a lot of those people.
Yeah, exactly.
So authentic sightings made prior to 1987 have never been documented beyond the Steve Cook song where he talks about them. And interviews with him, he says he got them from people having locals, just stories being told about it. Dive bar stories, nothing concrete. In 1887, like I mentioned earlier, which is the first alleged encounter of the Dogman in Wexford County, was when two lumberjacks saw a creature they described as a man's body with a dog's head watching them as they were working, and then they went to move towards it and it ran away into the forest.
Well, at least it didn't just attack them.
Yeah, no attack on that one. In 1937, in Paris, Michigan, a Robert Fortney was attacked by 5 wild dogs and reported that one was walking on 2 legs, seemingly leading the pack. Reports of...
wow.
So, weird. Reports of similar encounters with creatures like this also come from Allegan County in the 1950s, again in 1957, and again in Manistee and Cross Village in 1967. So there's a couple other reports of people being, or stories of people encountering these creatures. Years ending with 7. Little weird. In the 1987 Steve Cook song titled The Legend, which was an April Fool's joke like I mentioned earlier, in Traverse City, Michigan. He based the song on myths and legends from North America. However, he had never heard of the actual Michigan Dogman at the time of the recording. He has a quote saying, "I made it up completely from my own imagination as an April Fool's prank on the radio and stumbled my way into a legend that goes all the way back into Native American times." End quote. And that was from Skeptoid.com, did an interview with him. Yeah, so basically he just kind of told stories that ended up being actual stories that people had. So maybe he heard them, or maybe they were just common enough of a Dogman kind of thing,
Right.
During the interview, he would also take a stance as the skeptic, and would say things like, quote, "I'm tremendously skeptical because I've sort of seen the way folklore becomes built from the creation of the song and what it's turned into, but I do believe people who think they saw something really did see something, and I also think the Dogman provides them with an avenue to explain what they couldn't explain themselves."
Well said, actually.
Yeah, so that's my take on every cryptid thing. Like, that's pretty much exactly how I think. Like, I'm very skeptical, but I believe people see what they see. I believe them when they say they saw something. I don't think, I do believe there is people who are lying and making hoaxes out there, but I do think a lot of people actually see things. And and I do think there may be things out there that we just don't have documented, and they don't know what to say, so it becomes legend, and so on and so forth.
Right.
But yeah, after that, Cook would receive calls from listeners who said they'd encountered similar creatures. In the next weeks after, Cook's song was the most requested song on the station. He also sold cassettes of the song for $4, and all proceeds were donated from the single were donated to animal shelters in Michigan.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. You know, dog man, help the dogs.
No, yeah, exactly.
Over the years, Cook has received over 100 reports of the creatures in existence. In March 2010, the creature was featured in an episode of History Channel's Monster Quest. It would be featured on television again in January 2017, Season 2 episode Great Lakes Wolfman, Dogman, Wendigo of Monsters and Mysteries in America on Discovery Channel. Cook would even add verses to the song in 1997 after hearing a report of an animal break-in by a strong unknown canine at a cabin in Luther, Michigan. And he would even go on to re-record in 2007 with a mandolin backing to the song. So
it's amazing that these cryptids have such a profound sense of borders. Like, this guy don't leave Michigan. He just loves Michigan.
So, yeah. It's funny you say that. Because, also, if you want to, you can look it up, by Steve Cook. It's called The Legend. It's on YouTube. You can find the song if you want to listen to it. It's silly. Maybe for an April Fool's joke. Kind of catchy. Whatever.
Sure.
So I have that was my cryptid number 5 on my list, my top 5, right? But I have a 5.5, if you will, which is kind of a subset of the Dogman, which breaks the border of Michigan. As you mentioned, because there is another cryptid that has that's basically in almost every way identical to the Dogman, and is close to Michigan, and that would be the Beast of Bray Road, also known as the Wisconsin werewolf. So, I pulled my first pictures too on stream. We have a picture right now on the left of the Dogman, and a picture on the right of the Beast of Bray Road. These are photographs that were taken by people supposedly witnessing this creature. Of course, as every cryptid photograph in existence, they are blurry and low res. Because people can never have good cameras on them at the time.
It's very convenient.
Yeah, they look creepy. They look weird. They look like dogs walking on 2 legs and being creepy.
Yeah, I think pass on for these, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that at the end, but you're going with a pass on the Dogman.
Yeah.
No,
you
wouldn't smash that thing. Yeah.
No, pass.
So the one on the right was taken in Wisconsin, and the one on the left was taken in Michigan. So the one on the right is what we're going into now, which is the Beast of Bray Road. It's also known as just the Bray Road Beast, but the Wisconsin werewolf is another common name for it. And it is a wolf or dog-like creature allegedly witnessed in or near the rural community of Elkhorn in Walworth County, Wisconsin. It has since been become part of the Wisconsin folklore, and become subject to multiple books, documentaries, and even a 2005 horror film was created on the creature. So the creature is named for the farm road, which it was allegedly sighted. Reports of the creature in the 1980s and 90s would prompt a local newspaper, the Walworth County Week, to assign reporter Linda Godfrey, I think is how you would say it, Linda Godfrey, to cover the story. And Godfrey was initially skeptical, but would later become convinced of the sincerity of the witnesses, and her articles would later become a book titled The Beast of Bray Road, Tailing Wisconsin's Werewolf.
Huh.
So,
that's a good name.
Yeah. The first sighting was 1936, but the 80s had several alleged witnesses report the beast had made contact with their vehicles, leaving long stretch marks in the doors and trunks. Sorry, I guess stretch marks, but like long stretching scratch marks is a better way to put it.
Right.
It didn't like, gain weight and get stretch marks. Yeah. One witness would state that she hit something while crossing Bray Road, and upon exiting her vehicle to determine what she had hit, supposedly a large wolf-like creature with red eyes chased her back to her car, leaving claw marks on the rear passenger door.
Yikes.
Sightings have also been reported during daylight hours, with several witnesses stating they observed an unusually large wolf-like creature running on all fours through the cornfields in pursuit of a deer. That just sounds like a wolf to me, but figured I'd mention it. Animal mutilations have been heavily reported around Bray Road, with animal remains, including not only wildlife but livestock. They are partially eaten with specific organs removed from the animal carcasses, but not the whole body eaten, which is a typical werewolf thing we kind of talked about in the werewolf episode, eating the heart kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Another witness would report driving down Bray Road late one night and observed an unusually large wolf-like creature eating an animal which had been hit by a car on the side of the road. The creature reportedly ran into the woods as eyewitnesses approached it in their vehicle. Another site that was in 2017, I believe, and that's what this picture on the right, I think, is supposed to be from.
Oh. That's not that long ago.
Yeah. So we also have a sighting in July 2020 when a large hair-covered upright creature in Spring Prairie and Lyons area in Walworth County were seen by multiple people. So multiple people kind of spread, hey, there's this what's this hairy thing walk around, and the other people online were like, yeah, I saw it too, it's in this area, and that's all we got from that.
The thing's got weird looking arms. It almost looks like it's injured or something.
Yeah.
And it's walking on hind legs because it can't walk on its hands.
Yeah, like an injured wolf with necrotic arms, so it's walking on two legs. Yes, agreed.
Right.
But maybe it's scripted. The Beast of Bray Road, even in the books about the creature, are often compared to the Dogman, and some even claim it is simply a Dogman. And Wisconsin is very close to Michigan, and they are both very similar in description. Not the states, the Dogman. Yeah, so right. I mean, they might honor borders, made by the United States. So maybe they follow state laws.
Borders are made up, man.
So, are they? If a Dogman follows them, I think they're pretty.
That's a good natural. Point. Yeah, if a cryptid follows it, then maybe they're real.
Yeah, so that's a Dogman. So, for you would pass the Dogman.
Yeah, not smash pass.
I'm also on pass the Dogman. Yeah. I'm a big pass the Dogman guy. So this next one we actually don't have a picture for, because this cryptid is not so much a cryptid. It is, I consider it a cryptid, but some people might not. This is the story number 4 of Goatman's Bridge in Texas. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
Okay, surprising. Pat has heard of it. No one's heard of it. Don't worry about it. This picture I brought up is called Old Alton Bridge, and this is the Goatman's Bridge. This is known as commonly in Texas. This cryptid is a little different, but first let's just talk about this bridge. So the Old Alton Bridge is a historic iron truss bridge connecting the cities of Denton and Copper Canyon, Texas. It was built in 1885 by the King Iron Bridge Manufacturing Company.
Shout out
to them, dude. If you only make bridges, you probably need shout outs.
Probably.
It was meant to carry horses, but soon automobiles came around over the Hickory Creek at a location that was a popular area to ford for crossing cattle.
Oh, okay.
So as you can see, if you're listening to this, you can Google search the Old Alton Bridge or Goatman's Bridge in the images, and you'll find it. It's a very old bridge, but you can kind of see in the picture that it is a very overgrown and fairly deep river it's covering. So it was a dangerous ford crossing because how overgrown it was. So they really needed this bridge. They got one. It was great. It saw heavy use until 2001, when vehicle traffic was moved to the adjacent concrete steel bridge. Because prior to this, drivers had to signal with a car horn legally, based on a sign that was posted there by the state of Texas, before crossing the bridge, due to each side having a sharp turn, making you unable to see what's coming on the other side of the bridge. And it was only the width of a single lane.
Right. Okay.
Because it was made for horses. So it was, this is a horse bridge, and it was made for thoroughfare traffic for years, for over 100 years.
Right.
So it was dangerous. All right. So now, if this bridge is still here, this is a modern picture, as you can see. You can still go visit it today. and it is used as a hiking trail now. It's to cross the bridge if you're hiking. It also proves an important link in equestrian trails. So a lot of horse riders and hikers will be crossing this bridge. Now let's talk about a little history of this bridge. Going in 1930, an African-American entrepreneur named Oscar Washburn and his family tended a farmstead goat herd near the bridge that was renowned for quality meat, milk and cheese, and even hides. When a popular businessman proudly hung a sign on Old Alton Bridge directing "This way to the Goat Man," it infuriated the local Ku Klux Klansmen, who plotted to remove it and remove him.
That's a plot twist.
Yeah, I mean, it is Texas.
All right. Not that much of a plot twist.
On a dark night, a KKK lynch mob would appear and storm the Washburn shack and dragged Oscar Washburn out of the house and dragged the screaming man to their noose on the Old Alton Bridge, tying it around his neck and pushing him off the bridge with the noose around his neck. As soon as he was dead, the KKK went down to check their kill, but were shocked to see the noose empty and hanging undisturbed, with no sign of Oscar. They panicked and checked the area, but found nothing, and eventually went to the Washburn shanty and set fire to it while the goat man's family was still inside. Washburn was never seen again, but legend states that he may still be at this bridge, Pat.
As long as he's just like sniping people from the KKK, I'm fine with it.
You're not wrong. Local legend states that in the area, if you knock on the bridge 3 times at midnight, or perhaps turn off your car lights and honk the horn 3 times, it summons a visitation from the vengeful goat man, a large spectral man with a goat head, often carrying some kind of weapon or club, and usually holding the body parts of goats or people. Numerous reports tell of hikers seeing red eyes staring at them in the dark around Old Alton Bridge, and when they approach, they'll hear braying of a goat as it stomps off into the woods.
That's definitely scary as fuck.
Many people have reported sightings of a satyr-like looking apparition carrying the remains of bodies, like I said before, as well, in the woods around the bridge.
Jesus.
So, yeah, what are you going to say?
No, I just said Jesus.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Pretty, yeah. So he's not like a monster. This is like a ghost cryptid. But like, it's also got kind of monstrous sightings. People seeing a satyr-like creature in the woods, and like the red eyes kind of watching them.
Got vengeful spirit vibes.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. The encounters, as well as missing people cases in the area, have warranted a few official searches. Have never come up with anything, but many paranormal investigations have happened here, including a popular show on Travel Channel called Ghost Adventures. Did a whole episode on this bridge where you can hear a couple young men yell like frat boys at the goat man.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they always do.
What's up, dude?
Fight me, goat man! Fight me, goat man! Don't be a coward! That kind of stuff, you know. That's how they act.
Oh, God.
But the Oscar Washburn story isn't the only one on this bridge. Some people blame local Satanists who opened a portal for a hell spawn to enter, while others say the apparition is actually the wife of the goat man looking for her missing children. Now, on the topic of Satanist activity, that is very common in this area. It's hard to say what comes first. Because people like this, like who do that kind of like, let's go out in the woods and draw pentagrams and kill animals and rituals, those kind of Satanist people usually go to places that already have stories of hauntings, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's hard to tell what happened first, but there is a lot of Satanist activity that happens here. Pentagrams are found, sacrifices like chickens and goats are found, well, usually goats for obvious reasons.
Right.
So, you know, who knows? But predating the bridge itself, there is a legend that goes back to 1860 where Copper Canyon cowboys lynched a Creole slave goat herder named Jack Kendall from a tall creekside near the bridge, where the bridge, near where the bridge now stands. But the ineptitude of how they tied a noose, didn't know how to tie a noose properly, cut the slave's head off from his body when he was hung.
Oh.
And the slavers would witness the body reanimate itself via quote-unquote voodoo magic and rip the head off of a nearby goat, placing it on its own to replace its head. So that's another story of what the goat man could be. Regardless, the older generation of the area always warned about knocking 3 times, as it invites a judgment from the afterlife. The legend will also be told that the goat man will slay and carry off anyone with the bloodlines of the clansmen or slave owners who were in the area to carry off gruesome revenge.
Moral of the story, don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Don't be a racist. Yeah.
So, also, despite looking as hard as I could, Oscar Washburn and Jack Kendall do not exist and never did. It is widely accepted, seeming that they were not real, or they were forgotten for reasons of being not white. Right. Local legends do often, however, put names on things for us to better understand what they kind of are. So the names could be made up, but again, if it was a African American guy who started a goat herding business, even if it was successful and then got lynched, they would never talk about it probably. Especially a Native American slave, like that would never be talked about,
Oh,
like
not.
so it's just like it's possible they were real and their names kind of lived on through oral stories, but
sure.
as a historical record, I couldn't find it, and I looked online, and everyone else basically said the same thing, that there's no historical record of any Oscar Washburn or Jack Kendall. So
yeah, the irony is there's a lot of records that got wiped out in southern states. Like a lot of stories that are real got pushed under the rug.
Yeah, well, there's also a term. I think it's called the forgotten or something, which is like people who just aren't, the government doesn't care about, like Native American people who went missing. They don't search for
right.
homosexual people, non-white people, that whole thing. You make that kind of stuff. Like it's just like they just don't care as much. So
yeah, they never wrote it down, so there's no official documents about it. And
yeah,
there's so much of that. That's one of the reasons why I'm so skeptical about anything from sad racist stories to like cryptids and UFO sightings, because I'm like, you didn't write it down, you son of a bitch.
Why are your pictures so blurry?
Yeah.
So possibly ghost, possibly not, like specter, like
sure, maybe
big threatening, scary, satyr-headed, goat-headed, satyr-like person. Pass or smash?
I'm a little turned on from the vengeful spirit vibe, so maybe smash. I think might smash here.
Yeah,
like
we have stories of both gender, so it it can be whatever you imagine.
Right. So. Yeah. No. Again, I think smash. So.
Okay, we got to smash.
Yeah.
I feel like I would also go smash the goat man. Like, yeah, I would smash and also support their efforts to kill Klansmen.
Yeah.
Like I'm on board with that.
That's hot.
Like, let's get them out of here. All right. So I was searching for some cryptids of Boston. I was looking for things to get Boston cryptids. I wanted to get something from your homeland. They all suck ass.
Yeah.
So,
my homeland.
like a lot of New England cryptids
I don't think there is anything.
Are stupid. There really isn't. But I got a good New England cryptid. But it's a very famous one.
Okay.
It could have been a whole episode, but I don't want to do a whole episode on it, so I'm going to put it in this one. We're doing number 3, the Jersey Devil of New Jersey.
That's not New England, but okay.
New Jersey, what? Sure it is. What do you know about...
No, it's not.
What do you know about the Jersey Devil, Pat?
Nothing, because it's not in New England.
Okay, listen, it's the 13 colonies. It's the New English area.
New England is Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Everything south of that is New York, and it sucks.
That's like the same thing. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so the Jersey Devil. You don't know what this is?
I know people are arguing with me. No, I don't. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so the Jersey Devil is a very, very popular cryptid. I'm actually surprised you don't know what it is. So the most thing that they're known for is the hockey team, the Jersey Devils. Like that is named.
I did know about that.
Is named after. That's named after this cryptid.
I did not. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. We should have more sports teams named after cryptids.
So yeah, the Jersey Devil is also sometimes known as the lead devil, but no one would ever say that nowadays. That's like an old word for it. It's like 1800 slang. This is a cryptid of legend. It's probably this is of what we're doing today, probably the second most famous cryptid. And it is said to inhabit the forest that's called the Pine Barrens in South New Jersey. This creature is described as a flying biped. I'll go ahead and throw the picture up now. Got it here. It's hilarious. It's a fucking hilarious picture. This is the original drawing. The creature is described as a flying biped with hooves. If you're listening to this and you Google search Jersey Devil cryptid and just go to images, you'll see this picture everywhere. It's like the original drawing of it.
I've ever seen in my life. It looks like a little kid who's just like, I'm gonna put a goat head and dragon wings and it's got really skinny legs.
Yeah, well let me read. This is the official description of it. It's a flying biped with hooves. There's a couple different variations, but the main description is it is a bipedal kangaroo-like creature with a horse or goat head, and with leathery bat wings, horns, small arms and clawed hands, and a forked tail. It has been reported to move quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream.
Yeah, okay.
So the Jersey Devil has a very solid folklore foundation, which is basically got one origin story. There's a couple weird little variants on it, but the origin story is very, very solid, which is different from other things like the Goat Man we just talked about.
Right.
So, according to local legend, the Jersey Devil originated with a Pine Barren resident named Deborah Leeds, known as Mother Leeds. The legend states, sometimes they say Jane Leeds, so there's two names, but Mother Leeds. The legend states that Mother Leeds had 12 children. After finding she was pregnant for the 13th time, cursed the child in anger and cried out that the child would be a devil.
That's mean.
Yeah, I mean, you could have just.
That's why I'm pro-choice. By the way.
Yeah, you could have just stopped like that. Anyway, so in 1735, which by the way, also I did look it up for this. The average children per household in the 1700s to it was 1705 to 1775 was the range. The average children per household was 3. So 13's a lot back then. It's not like old days 3 by 10. Yeah. It's still wasn't much different than now. Mother Leeds in 1735, Mother Leeds was in labor on a stormy night while her friends gathered around her. Born as a normal child, the 13th child soon would change to a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Start growling and screaming, the child attacked everyone in the room before flying up the chimney and heading into the pines.
It's amazing that it knew how to fly straight out of the womb.
Oh yeah, I mean, you ever seen a giraffe get born? They run away. They run immediately.
That's true.
Or a horse. In some versions, Mother Leeds is a witch, and the child's father was the devil. But this version is mostly thrown out as 1700s witch propaganda.
Right, because the devil's not real.
Yes, obviously. But the Jersey Devil is. Prior to the early 1900s, the Jersey Devil was known as the Leeds Devil or Devil of Leeds, either in connection with the local Leeds family, aka Mother Leeds, or the southern New Jersey town, Leeds Point. So, Mother Leeds has been historically identified. We're going into history parts here, which is actually one of the reasons I like this cryptid story.
Right.
Mother Leeds has been identified historically as Deborah Leeds due to her husband, Japhet Leeds, which is a crazy name. It's Japhet, Japhet Leeds.
Where's that from? I want to know where the name origin of that is.
They are British. They're a British family. We're gonna go more into their family actually soon. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's more like it's like a pilgrim, like a Quaker name. I think is what it is.
Right. Oh, okay.
Like Jebediah,
Right. Yeah.
So in his will, he named 12 children in 1736.
Well, I guess that makes sense. When your child sprouts wings and flies out of the chimney, you're not really gonna.
Yeah. So I mean,
raise it.
Yeah, that's compatible with the legend, and like I mentioned, that was much higher than average. So, that's the only person with that many kids in the area, and their last name is Leeds. Deborah and Japhet Leeds also lived in Leeds Point, what is now Atlantic County, New Jersey, which is the most common location for Jersey Devil sightings. A historian of science at the Keene University, Brian Regal, has a theory which I love, which is crazy, and it is that let's just say it now. This is where it gets crazy. This is the part.
All right.
Mother Leeds, rather than being based on a person, is actually based on southern New Jersey political disputes that became folklore and gossip among colonials at the time, featuring a rather prominent figure. Regal poses that folk legends concerning these historical people evolved ultimately from a issue that would cause the Jersey Devil story to be created in the name Devil only, based on a rivalry between two early New Jersey politicians, Daniel Leeds, the almanac publisher, and his rival politician in New Jersey and almanac publisher Benjamin Franklin.
Hey, I'm related to him.
So this is why I picked this one. We got a lot of Pat roots in Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
It's thought that the unpopularity of the Daniel Leeds political status led to the family being known as monsters and publicly stated as being called devils by Benjamin Franklin, rather than any other creature, and it was merely gossip of that name.
That makes sense. Yeah, Franklin was a shit talker. For sure.
100%. And we're going to get a little more into that soon. Much like Mother Leeds, Daniel Leeds' third wife had given birth to 9 children, which, again, that's a lot of kids for this time.
Yeah.
Leeds had also surveyed and acquired Egg Harbor as his own land, which is located in the Pine Barrens and Leeds County, where the Jersey Devil was founded. What is Egg Harbor or Pine Barrens?
Yeah, it's Egg Harbor. It's kind of cute. I don't know.
I'm guessing it's shaped like an egg. That would be my assumption.
Little chickens all over the place. Anyway,
so Daniel Leeds was ostracized by his fellow Quakers in 1687 when he published almanacs, which contained astrological symbols and writings. Leeds' fellow Quakers deemed that astrology was pagan and blasphemous, and the almanacs were either censored or destroyed by the local Quakers.
Wow, we really started that shit early, didn't we?
Yeah.
In America, just like, oh, everything else that's not Christian, fuck it, it's fake.
Yeah.
Good job, America.
And this is made by a Quaker too, so that's like this is kind of showing how nothing's that solid.
Yeah, seriously.
So Leeds' story would go wild from here, where he starts becoming obsessed with Christian occultism, Christian mysticism, cosmology, demonology, and angelology. He even began practicing natural magic, which is using stones and herbs to try to speak with spirits in his case. He would keep publishing these almanacs that would get increasingly esoteric, and the Quakers would burn them and claim him to be a blasphemer, resulting in Leeds converting to Anglicanism, and publishing anti-Quaker tracts, which tracts are like political, like religious bulletins. So he would be publishing anti-Quaker messages, accusing them of being anti-monarchists, which was the first of Leeds' political career as a pro-monarchist.
Yeah, that's not good in that time in America. Yeah. You really can't be pro-monarchist.
Yeah, so he wasn't popular with his local religion or local politics. And Daniel Leeds was in hard competition with a much more popular almanac called Poor Richard's Almanac, with a lot of people may have heard of, because that was the almanac published by Benjamin Franklin.
Right.
And in 1733, Franklin satirically used astrology in his almanac to predict Titan Leeds, the son of Daniel Leeds. There's Titan. What a first name to give your kid. Titan Leeds.
Yeah, pretty badass. Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. I'm down with that.
Yeah, so Franklin satirically used astrology in his almanac to predict Titan Leeds' death in the same year, which didn't happen. But like he did it as like a joke. He literally called out his rival, like political rival's son, to die in that year in his almanac by using fake astrology.
Neat.
What a move.
Yeah.
But Titan Leeds would become offended and publish a response calling Franklin a fool and a liar, which, even further the political rivalry between Benjamin Franklin and his father, Daniel Leeds. In 1728, but a little bit in the past, Titan Leeds was working in the business, of publishing almanacs, and he began to publish on the cover of them all the family crest for the Leeds, which the family crest animal was a wyvern,
Neat.
a bat-winged, dragon-like creature standing upright on two clawed feet with two hooves.
I'm starting to see some
Yeah,
connections.
sound familiar? The unpopular and often seen as blasphemous almanacs Daniel leads, as well as that crest, are believed to be the origin for the Jersey Devil. So, you know, that's kind of a very historical, sensible way to look at where this cryptid comes from. Like, they took that he was called a devil. They took this thing. People probably started just shit talking and being like, "Hey, I heard his sons of one of his like 9 children's a fucking devil." You know what I mean? Like,
Leave the kids out of this, people. Come on.
so yeah, or maybe no, that's what it was. The 10th child that we don't know about. That's the devil. That kind of thing.
Right.
But that doesn't explain all the sightings, does it, Pat?
I guess not. I guess it does not, Atlas.
By the late 1700s and early 1800s, the Leeds Devil was already legendary as a monster in the southern New Jersey, and into the mid-19th century, stories continued to circulate in New Jersey, coming from sightings of a monster wandering the Pine Barrens, fitting the description of the Jersey Devil. Oral tradition of the story became the established lore of the Mother Leeds story at this time, the 1800s. So, according to the legend, sometime in the early 1800s, while visiting, according to legend, like the story's history of New Jersey, sometime during the 1800s, while visiting Hanover Mill Works to inspect his cannonballs being forged,
Cool.
Commodore Stephen Decatur, I think he's American. I think he was I tried to look him up. I think I remember correctly. I didn't write it down. I think he was an American Commodore. Sighted a flying creature and fired a cannonball directly upon it with no effect. So, sure.
Weak.
Yeah, imagine also actually being able to hit a fucking bird with a cannonball. Bullshit.
Yeah, he probably just missed.
Yeah.
He's just like, I hit it. I
Yeah,
nailed it,
sorry.
but I didn't have any effect.
Sorry, Commodore fucking Decatur. Decatur. It's Decatur. Decatur? Something like
Decatur?
that. Yeah. Sorry, you're bullshit. But we got another story. In 1820, when none other than Joseph Bonaparte, elder brother of Napoleon Bonaparte, visited New Jersey and claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil while he was hunting on his estate in Bordentown.
Cool. Good for him.
So I thought it was a weird little fact that Napoleon's older brother has a Jersey Devil sighting. All right. During 1840, the Jersey Devil was blamed for several livestock killings and mutilations in the area. Similar events would transpire the next year, 1841, with further evidence of tracks and screams. So it was hoof tracks leaving the livestock mutilations and the blood-curdling scream of a creature coming from the woods. Allegedly. During the week of January 16th, 1909 through January 23rd, 1909, newspapers at the time published hundreds of claims of encounters with Jersey Devil from all over South Jersey and the Philadelphia area. Among the alleged encounters were claims the creature attacked a trolley car in Haddon Heights and attacked a social club full of people in Camden. Police in Camden and Bristol, Pennsylvania, supposedly fired upon the creature with their pistols to no effect.
Again, I think they just missed.
Yeah. Also, that's the interesting story, though, because they did say this is actual record that in Camden a creature, an unidentified creature with wings, attacked a country club and
That's pretty
or
wild,
social
actually.
club, and the police showed up while this monster was still here, fired on it to no effect. That's all the police report says.
That is pretty wild.
So I don't know what the fuck that was. like did a bear or something wander? I don't know. Like what's out there?
Right.
But that's a wild one. Widespread coverage also created fear during this time in Delaware Valley, prompting a number of schools to close down and have workers stay home from their jobs. Vigilante groups and groups of hunters roamed the pines and countrysides in search of the Jersey Devil, and the Philadelphia Zoo posted a $10,000 reward if you caught the creature.
Jeez.
The offer prompted a variety of hoaxes, including people showing up with kangaroos from other zoos with claws and bat wings glued to them.
Cool.
So that's
Good job, guys. Trying to make their money. I get it.
Yeah. Luckily, they're like, that's a kangaroo, dude.
We call that fraud, guys.
Yes, that is fraud.
Imagine how much money that must have taken to ship a kangaroo over and then, like, get just glue shit on just for them to be like, nah, man.
Like, what are you doing? Like, that's a kangaroo.
Are you fucking stupid? We're a zoo. We literally study animals.
Yeah.
Did you think you were going to get away with that? Anyway.
In Greenwich in 1925, a local farmer shot an unidentified animal as they attempted to steal his chickens and then photographed the corpse. Afterwards, he claimed that none of the 100 people he showed it to could identify it. Unfortunately, he lost it. Lost the photos, so we don't have it. Oh no. Weird.
Oh, of course. Convenient.
Big bummer, but 100 people he counted. 100 people he talked to didn't know what it was. On July 27th, 1937, an unknown animal with red eyes was seen by many residents in Downingtown, Pennsylvania, or Downingtown. I don't know which one it is. And was.
Oh yeah, I know where that is.
Is it called Downingtown?
I think it's Downingtown.
Yeah, Downingtown sounds more right to me.
Pretty sure.
And he was compared to the Jersey Devil by a reporter for the Pennsylvania Bulletin. Whatever the creature's descriptions were, compared to Jersey Devil by the Pennsylvania Bulletin in 1937. But that's all we got, just people seeing things. 1951, a group of Gibbstown, New Jersey boys claimed to have seen a monster matching the Jersey Devil's description. 1957, claims the Jersey Devil's corpse arose, and stories began being reported of it, and multiple photographs were taken by newspapers. However, nothing was produced, ever. There was no follow-up. And many of these photographs are like hard to find nowadays, and the newspaper records, they're way too like destroyed to even see. Like this is like blurry, like spotty photos. You can't tell what you're looking at.
Right.
During 1960, tracks and noises heard near Mays Landing and were claimed to be from the Jersey Devil. And during the same year, merchants around Camden again offered a $10,000 reward and offered anyone who could find it to bring it to them alive, and they would build a private zoo around the creature.
Cool. How did that go?
Nothing happened.
Okay.
So
answer.
Yeah, Jersey Devil has a few like pop culture references nowadays. We got the Jersey Devils, of course, hockey team that's well known. That's a lot of people don't know it comes from this, like we mentioned at the beginning of the episode.
I had no idea. I just thought it was a cute name.
Yeah, it's in a lot of like a lot of TV shows about monsters, a lot of shows about like any kind of thing that deals with this. Jersey Devil's probably it's up there with like some of the big ones.
Is it in Supernatural?
I actually don't think it is.
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't have heard of it if it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think it is. Not that I could think of, or if it was kind of like talked about as like not real. But
oh, maybe yeah.
Yeah, that's the Jersey Devil.
The Jersey Devil I think it's exactly what you said earlier with like the also definitely Smash.
Definitely Smash. Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Pass or Smash or Jersey Devil.
Yeah. No, I my theory on this thing is though is just that like I think it's exactly what you said between Benjamin Franklin and Leeds. I think it's just like he was being a dick. He was making fun of him. It just kind of became a name that kind of spiraled into trash talking, to be honest.
Yeah, it makes sense historically. It has a little bit of historical background to it to like give it a little bit of life credence as opposed to like monster credence.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we'll take the devil down now. We're gonna go on to number 2. So that was 3. We've done. So let's catch up. We've done the Dog Man, including the Beast of Bray Road. We've done the Goat Man of Alton Bridge, or Goatman Bridge, and we've done the Jersey Devil. What's your favorite 3 so far?
I think my favorite so far is probably the Goatman still, just because I like the vengeful spirit stuff. I'm into that kind of origin. And the first one, I'm just like, I think it was probably just I'm like just wolves, maybe, just probably wolves, likely. And then and that obviously that last one we just did, it's just like. To me, it's just like a ridiculous story almost.
Yeah, so we did kind of like 3 different categories, what I would say. The first one was like... Was like kind of like a modern like monster sighting style thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's a monster in the woods. The second one was a ghost story. which I also agree. I
Yes,
really love the ghost story. I love it's a very classic ghost story, vengeful spirit. It's got a story, a reason for it to exist, kind of thing. And the third one was a very classic, like cryptid. Like that's like a cryptid. New Jersey, the Jersey Devil is like a cryptid legend. Like it is an iconic cryptid.
Right. I do think that like that story of it attacking a social club and then the police showing up, it's still being there. That's wild. And I think I don't know if that has any actual connection to the Jersey Devil stuff. But it is just a wild fucking thing to hear.
Yeah,
about.
it just happened during a string of Jersey Devil sightings. Like it happened that same week. That's the big connection part of it. So,
right.
I think it's hard to say. I don't know. We're gonna go on to number 2, which is the location I just put as North America because it goes from like Panama to Canada. This is the Thunderbird. You ever heard of it?
Yes. I don't know much about it, but I think I do.
So, yeah, the Thunderbird in America, it's a pretty popular legend, like as a mythic creature, like a mythical entity of the American folklore, especially amongst Native American tribes. Thunderbird is a massive bird-like creature. I have a picture of
I think I've seen like Native American artwork and depictions of it before.
Is this one?
Yeah, I've definitely heard of this.
Yeah, so this picture I brought up now, this is a man in a museum next to a creature that is often thought to be a thunderbird. This is an extinct bird in the photo. Like it's a reconstruction of an extinct animal, that is. But people attribute this bird to being the thunderbird, thinking they're still alive. Kind of like megalodons.
Yeah, right.
And so, yeah, it's a massive bird-like creature from anywhere from northern Canada to Central America, like I mentioned. The tails of these beasts being able to carry whales back to their nests with how strong they are.
Jeez.
They're often described in 2 ways, either a large feathered bird looking like a condor or eagle, or there are stories of thunderbirds being flying reptiles more like pterosaurs or pterodactyls in layman's term for like, like that kind of thing.
Cool. Yeah.
Since pioneers began traveling west across North American plains, sightings of thunderbirds have been reported. Native American tribes across North America, especially along the Pacific coasts and the Great Lakes area, have many, many stories depicting enormous birds of prey and called them thunderbirds. A lot of these stories... What was that?
I was gonna say, man, they just pick up people like it was nothing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk just about that pretty soon. Stories, the legends of these creatures, these mythical entities in the Native American lore, is that their power is so great that when they flap their wings, thunder is created, lightning flashes out of their eyes, and water would fall from their back, creating rain. So tribes were using the Thunderbird as a way to explain natural things such as storms or other forms of weather. Through Legends of Monsters, that's like, that's a pretty normal thing to do. A lot of old cultures would use like things like creatures to describe natural events.
Right. Yeah.
Other legends state the Thunderbird battled an enormous killer whale in the ocean, and when they fought, it would cause so much land to be destroyed that it caused like mass devastation. It's like kaiju battles, basically.
It's like I was about to say that's like an anime battle.
Yeah. So like these are big like Godzilla level battles.
God, I would love to fucking watch that shit.
Especially like real life. Like God, imagine. Especially if the Thunderbird's actually shooting lightning out of its eyes.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It literally is like a Godzilla creature at that point. Also, although dangerous and powerful beings, the Thunderbirds are often seen as benevolent nature spirits in Native American lore, and they sometimes assist tribes in the search for food during periods of famine, such as bringing seeds of crop, like for things, and dropping them over, like dusting the land, basically crop dusting the land around they live, so the Native Americans would have like food grow around them, or carry.
I crop dusted an elevator at work today.
Wow, that's a fart joke.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
guys.
it's a fart joke, guys.
I had to hit my quota for.
Yeah,
jokes,
we got
so
it.
Go ahead.
Also bringing bodies of like buffalo, like carrying a buffalo and dropping it out of the sky for the Native Americans to eat. That's the other
That's fucking
what they would
cool
bring
as hell,
food.
though. Yeah, that's super cool.
Legend states that the igneous rocks known as thunderstones that you can find today, like if you look up thunderstone, igneous rock, you'll find it. They're pretty little crystal rocks. Legend states that those are eggs of thunderbirds. That's what Native Americans
Yeah, if
believe.
you look up Thunderstone, though, you might end up just seeing a Pokemon
Yeah,
evolution.
yeah.
Stuff,
Don't look up Pokemon. Look up igneous rock, thunderstone.
Yeah,
So
that's cool though that they were the eggs.
yeah. Also, not only is there many sightings in the past, they are still sighted today, pretty frequently. Especially in the Great Plains. People have reports of seeing massive birds in the distance, like way too big, stuff like that. But not a lot of photos of it, so I don't know. Despite all that, in 1977, in Lawndale, Illinois, there was a famous attack known as the Thunderbird Attack of Illinois, where two massive hawk-like birds attacked a young boy. And the attack occurred on July 25th, 1977, as 10-year-old Martin Lowe was playing outside when two birds attacked him. They were large enough to one could pick him up and carry him over 30 feet before his mom would run outside and throw a stone, getting the bird to drop the child and fly away.
Jesus, I'm surprised it would drop a bird that big would give a shit about a stone, but all right.
Several eyewitnesses also witnessed this attack take place, and gave reports to the local police and animal control. And the birds were described as having a white ring around their neck and a 4.5-foot body, with each wing being approximately 4 feet in length, with about a 10-foot total wingspan. A 6-inch hooked bill, 3 front claws, 1 black back claw, and a black body.
Cool.
Thunderbirds are often seen in America's Great Plains or the Southwest in large stretches of desert, but sometimes they're reported as far south as Panama, and there's many sightings as well in the northern wilds of Canada. Common thought of the Thunderbird is that it was some form of modern-day pterosaur, which is like a large vulture, like extinct creature, which is the picture I have on stream.
Right.
But no flying bird bigger than an albatross or Andean condor have been discovered in recent times. Some people believe exotic non-native birds, such as an Andean condor, could be the culprit for the sightings that have been in zoos or whatever and gotten out. And some even think that they fit the description of the attack in 1977 because they are very large and could potentially pick up a 10-year-old if it was skinny and small enough.
Right. Yeah.
African crowned eagles are another suspect, as they do exist in zoos out here without clipped wings, because they don't clip wings in zoos. So if one got out, this could possibly be a thing, as they're also massive birds, and they do have giant wingspans. However, I did mention the flying reptile side of things.
Yes.
Which there have been multiple sightings of that, specifically in the American Southwest, in Mexico. And in one event, in 1890, a group of 6 gunslingers reportedly shot and killed a thunderbird in Tombstone, Arizona, where a mythical photo of them holding up the pterosaur-looking creature as if it is a trophy from a kill. So this story was published in the Tombstone Epitaph, and the photo remains a mystery because many people remember seeing the photo published, but the epitaph had no ability to print photographs. And the Library of Congress has the record of the photo, but they do have the report. And then this photo, which I'm going to bring up now on stream, which if you look up the Tombstone Thunderbird kill, you will find it, exists out there. And no one knows when this photograph started surfacing, where it comes from. But this is allegedly the Tombstone Thunderbird
crazy.
photo.
I do love that picture of, by the way, I like how the guy has his dog and he's like, no, look at the camera. But anyway, that literally just looks like a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah, so this obviously could be a prop. This could also be a modern photo taken with an old camera. There could be a lot of things to make it fake or whatever. But that's the thing. The fact that the epitaph couldn't print photos makes you feel like there wasn't one and people just misremembered. And there's that kind of thing when enough people kind of believe in something that it can kind of like, everyone's like, yeah, I remember that kind of thing.
Like that movie starring Sinbad, was it Shazam or Kazam or something like that? Yeah.
Which brings me on to my next cryptid, Kazam. No. Okay, so we got bird and we got lizard thunderbird.
This is cool. I like the Thunderbird. This has been my favorite one so far
Pass or
because
smash?
I've heard of it
Thunderbird.
before. Oh, Smash, Smash for
100%? All
sure.
right, yeah.
I love birds. Birds are cool as fuck, especially legendary Pokemon.
Especially legendary Pokemon. That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
Zapdos. Zapdos is real.
Yeah, this is basically Zapdos. Zapdos is based on Thunderbird. Um, so yeah, that's Thunderbird. We're done with that. T-Bird, get out of here. Of course, also the car. We know, like I was to bring it up as its prevalence in media is pretty it's pretty widespread. There's a car, the
Yeah.
famous car, of course, T-Bird.
Right.
A lot of games, Zapdos is based off of the Thunderbird directly.
Yeah, literally. It's literally a Thunderbird. I remember. Well, I remember like visiting Arizona when I was a teenager once because my parents lived there for a little while, and we just drove around like their old neighborhoods or whatever. But we went to go check out some cool old Native American ruins and stuff, and they were just like every now and again. I remember the like the tour guide would be like, "Oh, and here's a depiction of a Thunderbird," and I was always just like, and I remember they just looked fucking massive even in the artworks, and they had like, although they made them look really beautiful and ornate and
Yeah.
colorful and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But,
because
like,
there's a lot of Native
but, yeah,
American
no.
art of them with they're very colorful.
Right, and it's so cool. That's so dope. But yeah, no, definitely that was really cool. That Thunderbird one was fun.
All right, which brings us on to number one, the most famous cryptid of the group. I would say the second most famous cryptid of America. And this takes place in the southern United States, Mexico, and Puerto Rico, and this is none other than the chupacabra.
Oh hell yeah, I know this guy.
So the chupacabra, we got two pictures of chupacabra we'll bring up now. The chupacabra is one of the most famous cryptids of all time, not only in
Oh
the
yeah, big
U.S.
time.
In Mexico, and is a Spanish name that translates to goat sucker. The chupacabra,
That's a little naughty.
yeah, it does suck goats. It eats chickens, goats, and other farm animals, and even household pets that get caught in the mix.
Right.
It has been reported all over the southwestern U.S. and Mexico and Puerto Rico especially. But there is two types of chupacabra. There is the gray, mangy, coyote-looking canid type of chupacabra, which is most sightings, and then the biped reptilian chupacabra, which is a kind of like the original sightings. Just put it more as like this almost alien-looking animal.
Yeah,
But
I know about the reptilian one a lot.
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, there have been over 2,000 sightings of both types. And while sighting is sighted commonly seen sucking the blood out of goats and leaving 3 puncture marks, and they also are known for making odd noises and smells. So, little monstery facts there. So
This one's just like totally real because look at these pictures. They're pretty fucking like.
yeah, we'll get to that. I'm gonna describe these pictures later as we go down. The one on the left is actually a video. You can look it up. That was the best photo I could get of the video, like angle of it.
Right.
Which the video I think is a little more convincing of the picture on the right. But we're gonna go. We're gonna talk about these in a little bit. The first known attack of the chupacabra was in the March of 1995 in Puerto Rico, where 8 sheep were discovered dead, each completely drained of blood. Investigators found 3 strange-shaped puncture wounds in the chests of the animals, and despite all investigation, authorities could only attribute the killings to an unknown predator. But they did try to blame foxes for the kills.
Fox is getting a bad rep in so many cultures.
Yeah, and foxes also don't drink blood.
Yeah,
So
that's not
weird. Others in the area recognize the similarities of these deaths to cow mutilations that have been happening in Mexico and the American Southwest, with similar blood draining circumstances. The woman who first sighted the monster, Madeline Tolentino, had an eyewitness description that was the basis for the most famous drawing of chupacabra to this day, which if you look up chupacabra drawing, it'll be the first thing you see, which is of the more reptilian style. In Canovanas, Puerto Rico, Canovanas, I think is how you'd say it. Canovanas, I think is it. 30-ish citizens claim to have seen chupacabras, swearing it had swooped down from the sky and leapt over treetops. So,
Whoa.
this is kind of the reptilian one. People are seeing it as more of like a tree animal. November 19th, 1995 had the first detailed description of one come from an eyewitness, where they walked out at night and saw the creature strike their farm, with a horrifying scene as a dozen turkeys, rabbits, goats, cats, dogs, and horses, and even cows were found dead with no explanation, and when they examined closer, they all had 3 puncture marks in their bodies, and they were all drained of blood.
That's pretty wild.
In the city of Caguar, a startled homeowner caught the world's first look at a chupacabra with the reptilian kind, like actually describing it as reptilian, as having huge red eyes, hairy arms, and spines on its back, as it entered the bedroom of his house, tore apart his child stuffed toy, and then left a puddle of slime on the ground and a piece of rancid meat, and then crawled through the windowsill and left.
Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like it just pissed on the ground.
Yeah, like walked in there and just pissed and like left a piece of old meat. It was like, fuck you, fucker, and then like ran out of the house. I don't know.
yeah, like, okay.
Yeah. Through the year of 1995, chupacabras have been blamed for more than 1,000 mysterious animal deaths, all from blood loss through 1 or more puncture wounds. During that time, several eyewitnesses would come forward describing the creature as a monkey-like with no tail. They would describe the beast as having oval red eyes that sometimes glowed, gray skin, along with snake-like tongue, fangs, and long spinal quills that may double as wings. It is 4 to 5 feet tall, hops like a kangaroo, leaves a foul sulfur-like stench. At the site of some of the deaths, it had 3-toed tracks. So this is the reptilian version we're talking about. Where zoologists in the world have no known animal that matched that description, obviously. Later sightings across Mexico and the U.S. were similar in manner to dead animals. However, they were witnesses who described it as a hairless-looking dog-like creature.
Right, yeah.
Which are the photos I have on screen today on here, these are very common if you look up a chupacabra caught on camera. They were even...
I actually was just looking at it on my phone.
Yeah. So there's a police cam footage, which is a picture I have on the left. Did you watch it? Is that what you were looking at? The video?
No, I didn't watch the video.
Okay.
I was just looking at pictures.
So the photo I have on the left here is of the police cam footage in 2008 taken in DeWitt County, Texas, by 2 officers. And the footage shows a canine-like animal running on the side of the road. The animal is hairless and has a weirdly long snout and weirdly long pointed ears, matching the description of the chupacabra given by earlier sightings. When it turns its head, its snout looks really big, like weirdly big. Which people say maybe that's like where the 3 little poker teeth are that it sucks with, and this long like straw-like mouth or something. However, this could very well be a coyote with mange.
Yeah, that's true too, because it does kind of look like that, to be honest. But
yeah. In Hood County in 2010, local animal control officers shot and killed an alleged chupacabra, and they themselves and the animal control experts could not identify the creature. I remember this happening. I was following this story when it happened. I actually lived in Texas at the time, and I was like, this was like all over the fucking news, and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And we were like following the story. There was like news footage. They were like live on news showing the body. And the call was of a man who was like, there's a chupacabra in my backyard. And the police said, the guys were like, what? And they're like, there is a chupacabra in my backyard. Like, it is a monster. It's trying to get my dog. It's trapped in my backyard. It is super aggressive. And they're like, well, what is it, a coyote? He's like, no, this is a chupacabra, like the mythical creature.
Like, what the fuck did you just hear me just say?
Yeah, so like the guy stayed on the phone until animal control showed up. And then you hear the animal control radio back. They're like, yeah, I think it's a chupacabra. Like it's really weird. They were like, what the fuck is this thing? And they shot it and killed it. Because it wouldn't calm down. Like they were trying to capture it and like contain it, but it was like breaking through their nets and like ripping up their like dog collar things, and it actually lunged at one of them apparently. So the person shot it and it died.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's what happens when something's literally trying to kill you.
So this creature was taken to the Texas A&M University, where they were able to conduct studies on it, and they did identify the creature. So what it was actually a coyote-dog hybrid with extreme mange and internal parasites that warped its physical appearance. So
that makes sense.
It wasn't a chupacabra. But the reason why it was so unidentified, which could also be the animals in both these pictures, which also the picture on the right is just a motion cam, like a trail cam of someone's livestock, where you can see all their dead chickens and this animal, alleged chupacabra, coming in and killing them all.
Right.
So yeah, the mange, if you don't know, is a disease that affects mammals that like makes their hair
Yeah.
super patchy and fall out and like get gross and coarse, and usually they lose all their hair. And it
Yeah,
affects
no.
their skin.
Yeah. A lot of dogs on like just like stray dogs
Hmm.
in like Southern California are found with mange.
Yeah. And the specific types of parasites lived in the creature's brain and guts that warped the size of its like scalp, or like the
Oh, okay.
skin on the scalp would get like really taut in areas where it was like dehydrated, and loose in
Right.
others where it was like overhydrated due to the behavior of the parasites. So that was it.
Well, this kind of brings up an interesting sort of point
Hmm.
of like, I like our chupacabra is basically just deformed and mutated, kind of like coyotes or other dog like through diseases. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because at that point you're not really a coyote anymore. You know, you're kind of like just something else entirely. Even though you were once a coyote, but you got parasites and mange and all of these like all this perfect combination of problems, and then
Yeah.
you end up being something else because they're definitely not the same thing.
Yeah, but unless they also have vampirism, they shouldn't be drinking the blood out of things.
Yeah, that could be, but that could also be brain parasites, just like because you know when something has like a brain deteriorating disease of some kind, it can make you do things that you normally wouldn't do, or like 'cause, you know,
Yeah,
like drinking blood isn't
but
necessarily healthy for literally anything
yeah,
except
but
mosquitoes.
there's no um parasite that does that to our knowledge. And if it
Right,
and if
that's
that
fair.
and if it did do that, the point is that the puncture marks and the sucking of blood is not something you could do without the right body parts. You know,
That's
like
true. Yeah, the teeth is
a
what they're
vampire bat and a mosquito, like you brought up, they drink blood and they have parts for it. Like their teeth suck blood up.
right.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
like
which
when
is
vampire
crazy.
bats latch on, their teeth are like the little mouths of their own. So,
It's
you know,
crazy.
yeah, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's the chupacabra. That's all we got for chupacabra today. I put it as number one for a couple of reasons. I do love the myth because it is recent, 95. That's when chupacabra
Right.
really
Yeah.
started. Like people think of it as an old thing, but it's only like a 30-year-old, almost soon to
Yeah.
be
I'm
30 year
older.
old. Yeah, exactly. We're me and Pat are both older than this legend. Like,
Yeah, I remember just hearing about the chupacabra when I was a kid. You
yeah.
know, like all the way up in New England where we have wendigos and nothing else,
Yeah,
I guess.
and the
But
reason why it was brought up like to there is because these dead cattle with the three like puncture marks in the drained blood were real. Like something
right,
did puncture cattle in the three
that's
puncture
so
mark and suck all the blood
fucking
out.
weird.
Like this is 100% real documented. Was it a person with a weird device? I don't know, maybe, but like something did it. So like the fact that something
Yeah,
did it and like was no one's ever been caught for doing it as a person with like a weird three-pronged device.
I, I definitely think it'd be more likely an animal than a
Yeah,
person
for
with a
sure.
weird three pronged
I
device.
mean,
Yeah, like that sounds weird.
even if it's like some like swarm of insects or parasites or something, you know,
Sure,
like
sure.
something like it's like a bunch of things that drink all the blood and then burst out through three holes. You know what I mean? Like some kind of parasite. That's
Yeah,
how
like
they
burrow
breed, kind of
out or
thing. Yeah,
something.
you know, like it could be something crazy like that. But like it's still
Right.
like it's a crazy story. There's evidence of it. It's a more recent one. Everyone knows the chupacabra, right?
Yeah, we
Chupacabra,
love it.
Pat.
We love the chupacabra.
Pass or smash?
I'm gonna pass on the chupacabra. It's got mange. I'm not you. I'm
I
not.
was gonna
Mange
say
doesn't
the
really
same thing.
get me going.
Because I don't want to get whatever diseases this thing has, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
go. I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
stay
So I'm
away
gonna
from
have to
it.
pass on that. I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna to bang the shit out of that Thunderbird though. That's
Yeah.
definitely gonna be. That's my top smash for sure.
Yeah, so that's my 5 cryptids of North America, but I do have some honorable mentions. Now,
Yes.
I will maybe in the future even do. Let me just tell you, there's hundreds of cryptids out here, so I may even do another episode of top 5. But in these other episodes, if I do I want to do top 5 cryptids of other areas. Like Ireland is one I already have working on, stuff like that. So like, but I will eventually probably do ones to like. You say black dog?
I didn't say
Oh,
anything.
okay. I thought you said black dog when I said Ireland because that is one of them.
Oh, I didn't say. I just.
I thought I
didn't
was
say
like, wait,
anything
did
at
Pat
all.
just does Pat know an Irish cryptid? I was about to be like super
No.
weirded out. Like I want to do like other American top 5 ones too, with like really obscure local ones because there's so many obscure local cryptids that it's
Oh, I'm
hilarious.
sure.
But they will not include the ones I'm going to talk about now. And so firstly, I want to talk about, let's just go ahead and say Wendigo. We had that episode already. Wendigo, Skinwalker, Crawler are done. Those are, of course, my top 3 American cryptids. They're done. Go watch that episode. It's up on YouTube. Underwater Lords episode, Skinwalkers. Go watch it. National Parks.
National Parks
Yeah.
episode.
National Parks episode.
The name of it is very misleading.
Yeah. It's Wendigos and Skinwalkers and Crawlers are huge North American cryptids. I talk all about them in that one. So this is technically the second North American cryptid episode already.
Right.
So the next honorable mention, Mothman. That's going to be its own episode in the future. We talked about Mothman a little bit in the Injured Cold episode.
Yep.
But we'll do more into Mothman in the future where we go deep into that. Another one, Bigfoot. I know he exists, guys. Like, you don't need to no one like yell at me about Bigfoot. Like, I don't like Bigfoot.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Bigfoot. I just think it's a very boring cryptid. I could do a Bigfoot episode. I might one day, but it's not going to be one of
You'll
these.
be mad the whole time.
No, it's not like, it's just like I it's kind of like I want to believe situation, but it's so overly hoaxed.
Right.
And like it's like a bummer for the cryptid possible community because people hoax it so much, you know.
Right, yeah. Which is super sad.
So
because we don't want to be lied to. We want it to be real.
Exactly. So Bigfoot will probably be its own episode one day. Because there's definitely enough out there for multiple part episode on Bigfoot. And the last honorable mention I have is something that I really wanted to be in this top 5. It was something that I searched for, but there is literally like one paragraph of information on this out there, and I kept finding the same story. Like everywhere I looked, I'd find the same story. I even searched Los Angeles public records, and I found the incident. I found the person. It's the same fucking story. There's like no knowledge of this story. This is because firstly it's a Los Angeles one, and as 2 Los Angeles people, residents. Like I figured it'd be great to have one here. But this is a creature called the Dark Something of Los Angeles.
Just literally called the Dark Something?
And this is the paragraph. In 1937, in the underbelly of Los Angeles, one Dr. Elizabeth Doroshia led a team of amateur occultists followed and trapped a creature under the Angel's Flight funicular railway. The creature emitted dark, insidious energy that was said to cause terror and fear in those around it. So they bound the beast in iron chains and left it underground to die. Dr. DeRocha was afraid it would not die, however, and made several appeals to the city's board's zoning committee and animal control to get the creature removed or buried under cement.
Jesus, that sounds crazy.
That is all the information. I cannot even find information on that doctor other than that she existed to make these reports.
We should go there. You and I should go there.
Yeah, not even 100%. I don't know what the fuck that place even is, but like, it might even not be around anymore. That was 1937. But like, right. Like there's no knowledge of this story. Like just this story keeps coming back. Like, every time I look for it, it's like that's it. Just more of this same paragraph. But it's like literally something out of a Lovecraft story. Like a team of amateur occultists like banished some like dark entity under Los Angeles in the 30s.
With like just the dark energy emitting from it, so they chained it up.
Yeah, in iron chains. Like
I want. We gotta find this. We gotta go.
So, yeah, that's my honorable mentions category. And yeah, that's my cryptids of North America.
That was fantastic. I loved this. This was so good.
Yeah, expect more top cryptid episodes coming because I fucking love cryptids to death. They're like some of my absolute favorite subjects in the world. I just wish they're all real. It should be. You know.
I know. Yeah. Maybe who knows? Maybe we'll get some real solid scientific proof one day.
I mean, the people thought giant squids were cryptids. Now they're not. That's so true. You never know.
Now they're just they were legit real. They just washed up on shore sometimes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. That was
Thank you so
the
much.
Top cryptids of North America. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward to more in the future. Thanks for tuning in and listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you later.